I don't really need your breadcrumbs. You can keep them. Matter of fact, eat them.
Hi guys, welcome to my first YouTube video. Before you go into this video, subscribe, click the bell so you can get notifications whenever I upload videos, and give this video a thumbs up. Let's get into this video. Be the very first video that goes onto this photographic channel. In my next video, I'll explain exactly what I have decided to put in this photographic channel, if that makes any sense. But today's video will basically explain how I edit my images, like quick tips on like editing and everything, on retouching. I started off by opening Bridge and then selecting the image that I wanted to use to edit. Then I clicked onto the image, because there's two ways of doing it. Either you click onto the image and it goes straight into Camera Raw, or once you right click it, it will have options on the sidebar that will pop up. It would say open or open with or open in Camera Raw, and the one you want to choose is open in Camera Raw. Now that I've got the image opened up on Camera Raw, I start adjusting a few of the tabs on the right side of the screen to an okay exposure and contrast and any highlights or detail I want to keep in the image before saving it, and then you make sure that you save it in a TIFF file. The reason why we save our images in TIFF files is to make sure that we save the pixels in each image without losing the pixels while we edit on the images. Once saving the image is all now finalized and saved in a file that I'm going to use and open in Photoshop, I then transfer the image to Photoshop, where I will start the editing on the main retouching. After retweaking the image in Bridge, I then open the image in Photoshop, duplicated the layer by right clicking the image, and then renamed the image to Face, where I will start editing on that layer. Then to edit, I started using the spot healing tool. The spot healing tool is basically grabs an area that is similar to another part that I'm trying to edit on. Once I click onto the image, it will kind of smoothen out the area that I'm clicking onto in a kind of replacement from the other area it did take it from, if that makes any sense. But best suggested tool that I used if I want to make sure that it's completely duplicated is if I use the clone tool, because the clone tool basically clones a selected area that you want and then clones it to the area that you have actually selected. So it kind of like double selects, but not at the same time, just when you want it to be selected. So you'd press the Alt key to select the area that you want by moving the mouse and then selecting it with the Alt key, and then it will carry the selected area that you've selected to be copied and then paste it onto the area for it to be on, if that makes any sense. So what I do here is basically show the example on how the spot healing tool works, along with tweaking areas that I want to control and take off. And then obviously if I make any mistakes, I can always go back to edit and then undo. What I don't want to do here is edit the skin to the point where it is completely flawless, to the point where it doesn't look realistic. I like to make my images more realistic and more natural, so you can actually see a difference, but not too much of a difference, to the point where it's not completely real anymore. And that's the way I like to do my editing. So I'm just giving you a kind of like a small brief into how I edit my images, so you can understand the process of what I go into when editing an image, or should I say skin. So the spot healing tool can also be used on hair. because it does take areas from like a smoother area part of the image and move it onto the selected area that you've put on. But best suggested tool that I used if I want to make sure that it's completely duplicated is if I use the clone tool, because the clone tool basically clones a selected area that you want and then clones it to the area that you have actually selected. So it kind of like double selects, but not at the same time, just when you want it to be selected. Press the Alt key to select the area that you want by moving the mouse and then selecting it with the Alt key, and then it will carry the selected area that you've selected to be copied and then paste it onto the area you want it to be on. So in this part, I give you like a speed through of me just cleaning up areas with the spot healing tool, and then just checking if there's any spots that would stand out to me or anyone else looking, or any makeup out of place. I start using the navigator tool to see if there's any more areas that need to be cleaned up. I'll start on the hair in the background. So before I start making my last layer being hair, I start making sure that the skin is completely done and zooming in to any more areas that I feel that needs clearing up, which can take a long time, but with the process it will speed up because you kind of get used to it. Now that the main part of the retouching is done, I make a new layer for the hair, right-clicking the layer so it duplicates the layer, and then changing the name to hair, where I'll start retouching on that part with the clone tool. So with the clone tool, it clones wherever you select first before the second select where you want to clear up. So that's what I start to do with the background and the hair. So I kind of move the background more into the hair so the hair looks neater. So this is by pre-selecting the background with the Alt key and then just selecting it and then moving it over to where you want to clear up. But you have to remember that with the clone tool, it clones in an individual place, so it'll keep moving as you move downwards from where it was first selected. So now that I've cleaned up the hair, because there wasn't much hair sticking out, I then go to filter and then go to blur and then go all the way down, and it should be surface blur at the bottom. Once you click onto surface blur, it will give me two options in the box called radius and threshold. Those two control different qualities in the image, such as detail or kind of like a paint stroke across the skin. I adjust it to the point where it smoothens out areas in the skin and also brings the detail back into certain parts of the face as well. So that's another way of doing retouching. So once you're done with that, you press OK and it will all load up ready for you. Once you've done that, you can flatten the layer. It will be on your right hand side of your screen. It's a small box with 4 lines in it, but you can also save this image before flattening it to a Photoshop file where you can go back to it if needed, and then also flatten the layer and then save it as a JPEG. So if you wanted to use it on internet, portfolios, Instagram, social media in general, you can do that with the JPEG file. So this is the end result of the image that I've just edited right in front of you. I've shown you the step-by-step of how I achieved this photo. If you want to see more videos like this with retouching, image manipulation, anything that I've done, that is on my Instagram. I am CC Jacobs, which will pop up on the screen. Let me know in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up, share the video, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bar, and I'll see you in the next video.